Hi guys, I'm back again today with another reaction video, and today we're checking out why I converted from Islam to Christianity. We are going to check out the flip side because a lot of people are like, you're so unfair, you don't see the Christian side. So here we are doing that. We've reacted to a lot of reverts. So now let's see converts, right? So thank you guys for joining by. Yes, peace out, A-Town. No, before we do start, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell button to get notified whenever I do upload a video. So guys, let's check this out.
Yo, what's good, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Cyrus Speaks, and this is my testimony as to how I converted from Islam to Christianity. So I know it's crazy because a lot of people that follow me, did not know that I used to be a Muslim. Actually, many of y'all who've been friends with me for years even did not know that I converted to Christianity. So I thought it would be good if I made a video giving my testimony, explaining how Jesus saved me from Islam, and also why I have decided to continue in Christianity and in this faith. As a young boy in elementary school, I took it upon myself to start to learn and research as much as I could about other religions. I was very interested, very curious. That's
good that's good for him. That's elementary. He was interested already, because not a lot of kids care at that age. Like, no. Like, leave me alone, I want to enjoy life, right? And you have your development of like, some people are smarter, of course, so it makes sense. But I want to also hear what his, like, how did he become Muslim in the first place? Like, is it by birth, or did he revert and then convert? I want to know that part. I'm intrigued because his name is Cyrus. I don't know if he changed his name, okay, to like a Christian name or English. I don't know the origin of Cyrus, probably somewhere in Greek. But yes, I want to know that part, like the name, how he became Muslim before he goes into this. Maybe it's on the channel and I just don't know. But anyways, we're gonna hear.
Being absent of faith, I decided to start reading these different books, and in reading these different books, from Judaism to atheism, Christianity, Islam, the list goes on and on and on.
That's elementary though. Will you even understand the terminology, especially in Hinduism? I can barely understand like English words. But maybe, like I said, he's genius or smart, right? I can barely understand the Bible, to be honest, and even the Quran, to be honest. So for him to go into Hinduism and read, and Judaism and read, and all those things at elementary, right? And understand, wow. This person must have an IQ of like Einstein level.
I ended up coming upon Islam, and to me, Islam made sense.
Oh,
it made sense to me.
Okay, so he found it then. Okay, now we know the story, that part.
Because ultimately, Islam teaches that you can get to heaven based off of your good works and good deeds. Islam says you have to do, whereas Christianity says Christ has done on our behalf. So to me, Islam made sense. Islam says you are not born into sin. It says you become a sinner. I was living with my mother and my stepfather. It caused so much friction in the household because
he's the one. So he's the only one in his family. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So now we've got that base. Now we can build up and understand.
We were Christians, and I disagreed with Christianity. It caused a lot of conflict, and I actually moved out to live with my eldest sister and her husband, and they were Muslims. So fast forward a few years later, I'm living with my sister and her husband, and I'm in school, and literally it is the last day of school. This school was out, and I ended up getting into a fight. I actually got jumped. So after I got jumped, I went home to call some friends of mine. My eldest sister, she saw me calling my homies, and she knew it was about to be some drama. So she's telling me, you ain't about to bring no drama to my house. I ain't about to have no hood dudes at my house trying to make stuff pop off. Literally, while we're arguing, a knock comes at the door. We open the door, And what do you know? It's this white Christian dude at the door. And I say that because at the time I was really dealing with racism as well. So my sister decides to invite him in. I don't know why. She's a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. We don't like Christians, whatever. But she invites him in nevertheless.
They don't like
so
Christians.
he's telling us how he and some of his church members have decided, since it is now the last day of school and now technically it's summer, that he and his staff would invite some of the youth in our neighborhood and close by neighborhoods over to his house. My sister pressured me to go because she said, you are not about to be getting into some drama. You need to go somewhere where there's some positivity happening. So I'm at this guy's house.
Universe, Lord. Right? I don't know how your beliefs in coincidence is, but I don't believe it's coincidence in life. It's always meant to happen. But do you, boo-boo, because somebody's gonna start preaching a long ass comment again.
Drama. You need to go somewhere where there's some positivity happening. So I'm at this guy's house and I'm looking around. It's like all these Christians. I had never been around this many young Christians before in my life, especially of different ethnicities, races, just, so on and so forth. And they chilling, we eating food, we chopping it up, we laughing, and almost out of nowhere, a couple hours goes by, and then this dude is just like, hey y'all, we're gonna go ahead and turn some worship music on and start worshiping the Lord. I'm like, bro, what? Worship who? Like, I'm like, man, see, this is why I can't fool with y'all church folk. Y'all Christians, y'all always want to worship and talk about Jesus. It's like, man, I'm trying to have some good food. I'm trying to have some good time. It was a couple girls up in there. I was checking them out. So the crazy part.
I don't know how old he was, how deep his faith is, if he said he's Muslim. And since he learned this in elementary, maybe his knowledge on religion at that point was minimal, and also maybe he was really young, so obviously temptation is easier when we're younger, right? Like, we fall for temptations when we're younger more. So you're telling me that you were Muslim and you were eyeing some girls. I don't care if they're Muslim girls, Christian girls, but I don't think that is something anybody should do. Especially a Christian guy invited you to church or wherever this event was, and you are having that thought in your mind when you're surrounded by religious people. That is offensive on its own, right? But like I said, if you're young and sometimes evil is just so there, it's so present at a younger age, so probably.
About him saying we're gonna start worshiping was that he turned on some music, and it was like some weird hippie music. I mean, it was contemporary Christian music with like an acoustic guitar, but I ain't never heard that. So
it's not hippie music, because if it is like, I like those praise and worship songs.
Gospel music I had ever heard was like that gospel music. So I'm thinking, like, what is this weird hippie, we love you Jesus, just the weird voices and all. I'm like, man, what is this that's going on? What was really crazy to me though was that all of the people in there, all of the kids, the young adults, literally began to worship Jesus intimately, personally, like they knew him personally. Like, some would be dancing, some were singing a song, some were down on their knees crying, some were sitting down. Like, literally everyone was just worshiping and talking to Jesus privately. And I had never seen that before. So, I'm like, whatever, I'm trying to face towards Mecca, because, in Islam, we're supposed to face towards Mecca when you pray. Probably about 10 minutes went by, and the presence of God filled this man's living room. And I'm not usually a person that talks about like feeling type stuff or spiritual stuff in that way, but there is no other way to explain or describe it than the presence of God literally came in this man's living room, and I experienced it and I felt it. So I'm trying to figure out what it is. I'm thinking like, nah, man, I'm tripping. They put something in the food. They don't spike the food. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's not it. Okay, maybe it's my adrenaline since I got jumped earlier. I'm like, maybe it's this weird hipster music that they have playing. So I'm trying to figure out what it is, but I couldn't. So eventually I got up, left out of that man's living room, went in his guest restroom, closed the door, and immediately started blaspheming and cursing the name of Jesus. It's not the son of Allah, that Allah does not have children, that Jesus is just a prophet, not even as great as the great prophet Muhammad. Like, I'm saying all of these things that I have been studied and raised up within Islam to believe, and about 5 minutes goes by and I feel the presence of God, feel this man's living room, like just feel this man's house, and I'm on the floor crying, weeping under the presence of God, and this man don't even know what's going on. I get up, I look in the mirror, I'm wiping the tears, and I'm like, God, I'm not even a Christian, I'm a Muslim. I was like, I don't even believe your Bible is true, because Islam teaches that the Bible is only partially true. And for the first time ever, I heard God's voice, and God spoke to me. He said, don't worry about changing. Don't worry about transforming. Read my word and allow my word and my love to transform you. After that, I didn't immediately just get saved and everything was rose petals. It was a huge tug of war between both the faiths within my heart, because I wanted to honor God, but I wanted to make sure that I was doing it the right way. But those people lovingly walked with me. And through them walking with me, through them showing me through the text and through the scriptures and through their love, I was able to realize that Jesus is the Son of God. He is God. He is more than just a prophet. So, man, that is the story as to how I got saved. Man, it was a long process after that. I got to do a lot of missionary work, got to travel a whole lot, and preach to a lot of people, man. But aside from that, man, what is your testimony? Like, I shared this both to bless you, but also to encourage you to share your testimony.
I mean, I want to hear other
we
people's.
overcome by the power of the blood and the word of our testimony. And it's not about how good you can tell your testimony. It's not about how interesting your testimony sounds,
How true.
or how powerful your testimony sounds. It is about the power of the one who's giving your testimony, who is Jesus. Aside from that, let me know what my testimony, how it spoke.
Okay, Cyrus. Okay. I mean, I don't know if this is exactly how it happened. If this is true, only God knows who is lying and who is not lying, right? At the end of the day. I don't know. Most of the time, right? Most of the time, you know when someone is speaking shemenkos, but for some reason, like, I am not the best at, actually, I know when somebody is being true or not, but sometimes I override it with logic, right? I feel that something is fake or it's not true, but because of my human nature, I always override it. I always tell myself, no, your heart is, you should ignore what your heart is saying and give that person a benefit of the doubt. But for some reason in his video, I was so neutral. I had no feeling of like, I was just neutral. It's just there, right? My emotions were just like, I didn't feel anything. It was blank. My brain was just listening to what he had to say, but emotionally I was just blank. Because sometimes when we watch these videos, right, I don't know if the people that we watched before, they were just good at storytelling. Like he said, maybe it's not how you say a story, right? So maybe they were good at storytelling. I have no idea, right? Like I said, nobody knows the truth, only God does, and only the person who is speaking of it. So at this point, fair story, but I don't know. I'm just like, it wasn't convincing to me, right? For me, at least, it wasn't convincing. I don't know how you guys would react to it. Obviously, some people are going to be like, oh, you're biased because la 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 la. But let me know what you think, because I'm just blank. Literally, like, I'm really blank. But anyways, guys, thank you for joining. If you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.